Why interact? Well, we came together as a group because there was no other group that has actors with and without disabilities that's creating theater. Back in 1991, I founded the Interact Theater Company. It started off just being theater with actors with and without developmental disabilities. Eric Wheeler came in to audition when we decided to do our new play, Bubba Nielsen, Endangered Species. It was about the demise of the white man and his railing against all the changes in society.
When I'm on stage, I ham it up. That's all I do is be on stage and I ham it up.
The Interact Center for the Visual and Performing Arts was founded in 1996. I worked with people with disabilities for about 20 years, and I saw there was a huge need. There were so many creative individuals that were not able to have a fulfilling life because the options that were afforded them were very limited. Interact Center consists of the Visual Arts Department and the Performing Arts Department. They do all forms of visual arts, painting, ceramics. They create sculptures from found objects. They work in fibers, a large extent of media bookmaking. Most people with disabilities have been defined by their deficits most of their lives. They come to Interact and they're creating, writing, exhibiting. They forge a new identity, and that identity is a positive identity in the community.
Interact does a lot for me. It has lifted my spirits daily, and to know that the young people can do very well if they just put their mind on what they want to do and become.
The themes and stories in our plays and cabarets come directly out of our actors' lives.
My mother smiled as a doctor said to my mother, "Your baby boy was Down syndrome."
Interact has attracted some wonderful staff.
Good morning, Interact. Patty speaking.
They make the creative process work the way that it does.
Ooh, yeah.
Here we're offering a chance to work in a really creative environment. It's more than a job.
At Interact, we can't help but be really honest and really truthful. And that's the best kind of theater there is, in my opinion.
Well, I can't help it if the ladies love me.
Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. Wanna dance with my baby.
She said, my whole life I've been in jobs where people say, Karen, you're too loud. And then she said, so I came here and you actually said I needed to be louder.
I like to sing because it makes me feel good. It's my job. One of the main reasons it makes money, and it's what I like to do. So I have fun with it. I always wanted to. Growing up, I always wanted to be somebody famous.
And many of our other actors here too. In the beginning, they were good, but what's happened through the years is they've just totally blossomed. The visual artists, the same. You know, we have visual artists that they did some nice work in the beginning, but they've had major breakthroughs.
In the visual arts program, we work with, on average, between 25 to 35 artists a day across a variety of media. A significant amount of artists that come to Interact often state that they've been told or have felt that they would never have a career of their choice. We're finally able to help them bridge the gap in accessibility, to have them put together a portfolio of work, create a CV of their career in the fine arts, and to finally gain success, including sales of their work.
A lot of the people that came here, a lot of the artists were considered high-risk troublemakers, had failed in normal jobs. Billy was one of those people. When he came here, I actually had a staff that had worked with him before that warned me, don't let this guy in your program. He is nothing but trouble.
Well, Billy T was a trickster, and so he was always pulling stuff. And you could always tell when he would turn and he'd have that look in his eye. But he could take a stage like nobody else. And it was something that an actor either has or he doesn't have. And Billy T was what I would call a pure natural.
Like in some of our shows, we've written about misfits kind of finding a place in the world. And I really feel like that's what Interact has been for a lot of people. They were kind of floating around on the edges of society out there. They just didn't have a purpose. And they walked in the door here and they put on the clown nose, put on the hat, got up on stage, and that was it. Or picked up the brush and started painting, and that's what they were supposed to be doing all along. People raise to the level of their expectations. We highlight their talents and we keep working on their skills, and by doing that, it just lifts up their whole sense of identity. Because for the first time in their lives, people are seeing them for their gifts and talents and not their deficits. And I think that's the secret of the success here. I really think it's the secret.
It doesn't matter physicality, where you're from, where you grew up. If you're a performer, you're a performer, and you should and ought to be on stage. And so when I work with Interact, I just see 40 more performers trying to get in my light.
Are you rolling? It's that song that we wrote for Damon. It's not in the cabaret, but the source of your power is the source of your pain.
The feast and the famine, the sun and the rain. The source of your power is the source of your pain. Take it, baby, the way that it comes. Some days there's plenty, some days there is none. This party called life ain't done till it's done.
Interact transforms people's lives. If you walk in the door here, you leave and you feel differently.
The strongest theater, the strongest art is a perspective. And you get a perspective from the fringe of society that you don't get from the inside.
It's a win-win. I mean, it's about human potential and tapping into untapped creativity. And it really, really transforms people's lives. And it transforms not only their life, but the people around them.